Horton time. God is our solace. Just enjoying the song on the background. Solace for the Horton. Our God is our solace. Yes, our God has given us double honor for our shame. Today it's time for solace for the Horton. Where are your family members? Call them. A story time is here. All right. Let's move on this evening. I say good evening once again to everyone. My name is Ugochi and I welcome you to Solace for the Horton. Remember, this program is a program where we gather everyone that is hurting and we say, don't cry, don't bother, God is taking care of the situation. By the time we're done, you will see and realize that God can do anything, everything. God can do the impossible and he cannot fail. God is our solace. That's where we get our comfort from. So if you are having challenges in life, let's gather here this hour and let's comfort ourselves. Shattered, you're depressed, you're having challenge, you're wounded emotionally, psychologically, physically. Just let's gather. You will be comforted. I can assure you of that. You'll be comforted. By the time we're done, you'll be laughing and be jumping, shouting for joy because God is said to deliver. All right, before we continue, we will just go for a short commercial break. We will be right back. Don't touch the dial.
Depressed, sad, wounded, broken, confused? Are you feeling lonely, abandoned, helpless, hopeless, battered and shattered? Then rejoice, for help has come. Solace for the hurting. Solace for the hurting. Solace for the hurting is here for you. A program for you and yours, set to put you back together again. Every Saturday, 7 to 7:45 p.m. Solace for the hurting is coming your way on your favorite station, Family Love 97.7 FM, with the Kingdom Lady. You are not alone. Join us every Saturday for Solace for the hurting.
Alright, you're welcome back. You're welcome back to Solace for the Horton. Today, as usual, I have a special guest with me. A beautiful lady here. You wouldn't want to miss her story for anything. Remember, this program is a Tales by Moonlight, let me put it that way. We tell stories, but at the end of the day, they are true life stories, God's intervention in the life of men and women. And you see beautiful testimonies coming through. So today I have a special guest with me in the house, and I'm so glad to have her because she's lightening up the studio as I speak with you. And she's none other than Barrister Ugochi Awokinone. Yes, I think I'm getting that right. So Barrister, good evening and welcome to Solace for the Horton.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next voice you'll hear now is the beautiful voice of Barrister Ugochi. You're welcome to Solace for the Mountain.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You can hear that voice, so wonderful. So she is going to tell us a story of who Barrister Ugochi is. So I want you to pay attention. Today we are looking at surviving from postpartum depression. You heard me, surviving from postpartum depression. And somebody will ask me, what's that big grammar all about? Don't worry, Barrister Ugochi will break it down so that we can move. So, Barrister Ugochi, let's meet you on Solace for the Mountain. Thank you for gracing the studio this evening.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's meet Barrister Ugochi and what happened to Barrister.
Yes, the listeners out there, I am a survivor of postpartum depression, and to the glory of God, I'm not ashamed to talk about it because it's a life experience. First off, before I got married, I never had any choice as to whether I should have my baby through C-section or vaginal delivery. Because I remember way back in school, I had a friend who got married, and she was like that she would want to have her baby through C-section. I asked why. She said that will help her to, remain very tight down there for the husband. It's funny though, but and lo and behold, she got pregnant, and her first child, she went in for C-section. She elected to have her child through C-section, but I think every other children she had, it was through
Normal
vaginal
delivery.
delivery. Yes. So fast forward to my own time, I got married. I didn't get pregnant immediately. I think 2 years down the line, yes, I got pregnant, and my first trimester was, oh my goodness, it was a hell because food became my enemy. I could not eat. The sight of food was not sitting to me. When I eat food, I would just vomit everything and all that. But after that, I recovered. I was okay. The baby and I were all doing very fine. Trimester, the doctor diagnosed and said that my baby was big and that I would not have to push. Remember, I said I didn't have any choice as to whether I should do this or that. All I know was that I was pregnant and I was enjoying the whole thing. So I called my husband. I said, look at what the doctor said. Oh, okay, first of all, because I didn't have, a clue as to how the whole thing would play out, one day I was using the restroom. I saw water gush out of my body. I was like, because I've been researching, I've been going to the hospital, so they've been talking about, your water, something would tear. Water, yeah, something like that. So immediately I saw it, I thought that was the label.
Yeah.
But it was later I realized that your water could actually come out without you having the baby that very day. That was my experience though.
Okay.
Yeah, so when that happened to me, I told my aunt that I was staying with. I said, look at my experience. She said, okay, gather your things. You have to go to the hospital right now. I said, okay, fine. I prepared. I went to the hospital. So when I got there, they checked me. They said I hadn't even achieved up to 3 cm.
Okay.
Yes. So, but they would not let me go. I had to stay in the hospital. I was admitted. They kept checking me. Doctor said, after 24 hours, really, doctor said, prepare her for C-section. I think I was able to achieve 5 cm. Yes, if I can remember very well. So I called my husband. I said, this is what the doctor said. In fact, he was like, what are you waiting for? Just sign whatever paper they give you. Please, just do that. You are so important. Just do it. I said, okay, fine. I had to endorse every other thing. That was how your sister went into the theater. You know, I was there not knowing what to expect. I think in less less than 10 minutes, I heard the cry of a baby.
Wow.
Yes. And under the 24 hours I was in the hospital, they had given me oxytocin. I was having so much pain, and doing all manner of things for me and every other thing. But immediately I heard the cry of that baby. Oh my goodness, there's these tears that just rushed down my, cheek. So I have a child.
Yeah,
You know,
tears of joy.
Yeah, so that was just what came to my mind. So I have a child. But still lying down there, the nurse brought the baby close to me. I saw my baby and I'm like, wow, it's a boy. And I say, thank God. I thought that was the end, of my trauma or every other thing. I stayed in the hospital. The breast milk was not flowing. They said it could happen to some persons, so that I should keep taking enough fluid, so that the breast milk will flow very well. And I was doing that judiciously. But I don't know, it's kind of, it was coming out slowly. Yes, so the baby had to, be taking milk in the hospital immediately. I was discharged from the hospital because while I was there, the nurses attended to the baby, they attended to me. God so kind, they were really nice to us. I was lacking nothing while I was there.
Wow.
But when I got home, the whole story changed for me. In fact, the first thing that happened to me was a cry. But the cry was no longer the type the tears that came out when I was in the theater. This one is something else because it made me feel like I've lost it. I'm like, who is going to bat my baby now that I am back home? My aunt was quite busy. She was writing an exam, so I would say she was practically not there for me. It wasn't her fault. Of course, she had to write her exam, and she didn't tell the baby to come out that time. Okay, but as a first-time mom, it was a lot of challenge. Like the challenges on my face and my body, everything was so much. Who would bat my baby? Who would even cook for me? Remember, I had baby through CS, so I was still nursing my wound, and I had swollen legs.
Wow.
Yes. So looking at everything, my husband was not there, my mom was not there, my siblings, my sisters, in fact, an immediate elder sister that so much loved me, that could attend to me, was not there for me. I was all alone. So that day I came back from the hospital with my aunt and one of her friends, an elderly woman. She carried the baby, went straight to the bathroom, just dabbed the baby's body. She's actually a nurse, but she was like, you have to be doing this henceforth. Oh my goodness, my hand just skipped. Like me, looking at the baby, how do I even handle it? This is just looking so, how do I put delicate? Looking at the baby, me be doing this thing for like how long? But that was the facts, and it was reality on my face. I had to face it. She left our house that very day, and the whole thing dawned on me that I was alone. Looking at the baby, I was now feeling, having this regret of why did I even get pregnant in the first place? I didn't know. Nobody told me that when I have a baby, I will have to take care of everything all by myself. Because I grew up with my elder sister, one of my sisters. I remember when she was having her children, I was there. My mom, in fact, will come some days before she will even put to bed. We were washing clothes, doing everything, cleaning the house, cooking. In fact, she would just hang her legs. So why is my own different? Like, God, and besides, I'm the last girl in the family. I should get better attention. But I'm not getting it here now. So what's the problem? Oh my goodness, I emaciated before my very self all of a sudden. And to crown it all, maybe because I wasn't feeding him well, that's what I would think. Baby was always crying. I didn't know what to do. When I look at the baby, I'll be like, this just like a burden to myself.
Wow.
Yes, that was the feeling really. But the baby is innocent really. I wouldn't do anything to the baby. But at the same time, how will I take care of this baby? How will I take care of my own self? And I wasn't eating well because there was no one cooking for me. When I could, you can imagine someone that just put to bed, I'll go and eat watermelon, very cold one, because that's what I could lay my hands on. I will go to the fridge, I will see any fruit, I'll just, apple, I'll just, just something. I can't even stand to like cook rice or pepper soup or whatever.
You needed to eat for the breast milk to be flowing.
At that point, I lost interest in everything.
Wow.
Yes, all that was, coming to my mind was somebody should come and take this child away from me. I'm not going to suffer all this alone. My husband would call from morning till night. In fact, I pitied him because then from the office he would call, and in between be like, baby, I can't hear you. You are crying all through. In fact, since we started talking, it has been cry. And I can't help you. I am not there with you. Okay, please see how you can. In fact, I think the man lost words. He lost what he could tell me. Yes, my siblings would call, my mother would call, everybody would call. They kept encouraging me, take it. I'll be like, take what easy. How is it? Just see me. I can't even get anything. I can't do this. Don't worry, calm down. You will be fine. I said, I'm not getting fine. I'm not getting fine. This whole thing is troublesome on my side. And the baby is not even pitying me. In fact, in the night, he will be awake. He will be crying. So what will I do?
So you and the baby, you are doing competition of crying.
Yes,
crying
definitely. Yes.
competition.
When he feels like I've stopped crying, he will start his own. Yeah, that is the truth. And honestly, I pitied the baby.
Wow.
He's my child. The only challenge I had was I couldn't handle him. I couldn't take care of the baby, and I couldn't take care of myself. It was a whole lot of problem, but that was what I was passing through. I lost interest in so many things. I hated marriage. I hated putting to bed.
Wow.
Yes, because I felt like if this is how it is, then there is no need going through all this. How could two parties do something and one party will be suffering it at the end of the day and all that? Oh my goodness. So I had to go for checkup at the hospital, and during our session, they handed me over a document. I had to read through and asking me how I've been faring, how is the baby faring, have I noticed anything. Then they now go to mood check, like, okay, how is your mood? Do you feel like committing suicide? Do you feel like harming your baby? Do you still have appetite to eat food? Do you take some medicine? Are you taking any induced medicine to fall asleep? Are you suffering from I think insomnia, whether you sleep at night?
Let me ask you at this point, why is it the normal routine for them to do that, or maybe they suspected something?
I guess it's a normal routine.
Okay.
Yes, because I wasn't the only one that was there.
Okay.
Yes, so some of us that were there, we were handed in the same document.
Right.
So I think it's a normal thing they do. So maybe from your answers, they will now decipher what is actually wrong or something is not wrong, or if they have to maybe place you on medication, they will have to go ahead and do that, or probably if they have to increase anything for you, in fact, or probably your time of visits, they may, instead of coming every week or 2 weeks, just come in between. So it was at that point, because all the things they were asking me inside the document happens to be the things I was passing through. There was no passion, there was no interest in anything. Do you understand? So that excitement of, I have a child, just dissipated into the thin air. And I said, could it be I am passing through postpartum depression? That was what just occurred to me that very first time. Looking at it the second time, I said, yes, it's true. Because looking at everything inside these documents, I could say, truthfully, that this is what I am passing through. But
Did it
now,
affect your health?
yes, it did, because, of course, someone who wasn't eating well, someone who wasn't in the right frame of mind, in as much as I didn't have fevers, okay, but I know I was having this headache.
Okay.
Do you understand? Yes, in between, I wasn't sleeping. It definitely affected me. But as an African woman, I had to, muscle up to do what I had to do. So I carried on. However, I didn't speak yes to any of the questions asked. Yes, and why I didn't do that is because I understood the environment I was, and I know that they don't take chances. Because of that, if you said yes, oh, you feel like abandoning your child, they might take away your child from you.
Wow.
And I can't have any explanation.
That's too risky.
To give to anyone when everybody is expecting to see my child. You put to bed a baby boy. I said no to everything. But again, I noticed that when they checked my blood pressure, it was high. Before that time, I never had history of high blood pressure. Well, it has always been normal, But so based on that, they were always checking me, telling me, they gave me some medications, I could take. Apart from that, this other one, they said, okay, since your answers, this is what you answered. Madam, we think you are okay.
Wow.
I said, thank God I am okay. But truly, I wasn't okay, So I will go back home, and that was it. But this continued after a week, like 2 weeks, getting into the third week. When I hear my mom's voice, particularly, she will be like, "Go, mom, you did well." That kind of thing. I'm like, oh, I did well. It's okay, since I did well, that means I actually did well. So somehow, I said to myself, everybody is expecting something big from me. I cannot disappoint anyone. So at that point, I started recovering my personality, because it's as if my person was stolen from me. So yes, I had to get back into me. How did I do that? I don't know how, but what I know is that I now remembered that what the Bible says. I don't know how it came, but maybe because I had that expectation that people would want to see what I'm coming back with. The first verse I remembered was that, children, sons are blessings from God. So wow. So I have a blessing in my hand. There is no need having the blessing in my hand. I remember that my children will surround my table.
Wow.
I say, okay, this is a child. But from a child, they will become children, and they are going to surround my table.
Wow.
So I'm not going to lose my child. I want them to become children. From there to another one, like, my children, they are for signs and wonders. From there, I will remember that my children will do exploits, those who put their trust, things like that. I will remember that my children, they are like the sons of Ishaka, they will understand the times and seasons. And I remember that, my children are going to be great ambassadors.
Wow.
So many things started coming into my mainstream. And that was how I knew that I was getting, healing. And it wasn't a physical one, it was spiritual, and it's just God at work for me. Do you understand? Yes. Then when my husband calls, my loved ones will call, there's this cheerfulness in my tone, and they'll be like, now you are beginning to understand. A marriage is not a joke. Having a child especially is a plus. So now you are getting it. Now you are getting mature into the business of marriage and all that. Well, that was it. So I had to,
Brings
develop, tough skin.
Yeah.
And looking at the baby, he has this muscle, in his hand. When I look at it, I say, oh my goodness, see, he has muscles already. And I was happy. And I had no choice. I must do what I have to do. Okay. So in my own case, it was in between troubles and realizing who I was and who I am. Do you understand? In the Lord. God really saw me through. If not, because I've had cases of people who, out of that depression, killed their, newborn babies. Yes, people do that, and or some persons from there, one mental issue or the other will develop. Some persons, even from the blood pressure, before you know it, becomes a permanent problem in their lives. But I don't know. God just changed the whole drama for me, and today, looking back, I say thank God.
Wow.
Yes, I thank God it happened the way it did, and thank God I pulled through,
Wow.
the way I did also. But in all, it was just God for me. Nobody, not even me. It was just God that delivered me.
Wow.
So, indeed, postpartum depression is real. It's harmful. It can happen to anyone. It comes unexpected. I never knew about it, but I had a real experience, and today I'm better off.
Wow, happy ending. I'm so excited. Listeners, I hope you now understand what postpartum depression is. So it means when a woman gives birth, the aftermath, if it becomes negative, with issues. Like you said, there are women that they go mad. I know a story of a woman. Every time she puts to bed, I think she has 3 now. She will be mad for 6 months, and then she will recover back. And we'll look at these things in our own society. We'll say, maybe demonic and all that. But basically, I noticed something from your story. It started at a point you became lonely.
Exactly.
Nobody was just there to help you pull through. Being the first pregnancy, so you needed that care, the love. So what triggered it was that loneliness.
Sure.
So it's important we should any pregnant woman, especially for the first timer, we should be able to surround the person with so much love. I love African culture. Once a woman is pregnant, we talk about mogo. And the mother-in-laws and the mothers, they get up to come. Why are they doing that? Because they understand these things. So the moment we kind of shift from there, it has issues. But thank God for you that at a point you realized yourself.
I did.
And you noticed who you were in Christ. You began to look at the baby as a blessing. And so many women had lost it at that point. Some people would have killed the baby, or something would have happened to them terribly, or maybe they would just take their own life. But God saw you through. So
Amen.
Many women are passing through the situation at this point.
Exactly.
And some persons don't even understand it. They say, is she the only person that's put to bed before? We don't know how to show this love. We say, what's wrong with her? We should be able to come at that point with care and love.
Yeah, it's true, because just like you rightly stated, it was the loneliness that triggered of everything. And maybe because like what I stated when I started, I said I was expecting that when I would have my own children, my mom would have hand stuff for my sisters. If I should, in fact, I told her in the presence of my siblings, I said she will be living in my house from the first child to the last one. Yes, that she will be in my house. Then when I'm done, and she's ready to go home, she would go. Unfortunately, from the first one, she wasn't, not even a sister was there for me. Oh my God, they said we should confess what we want and it's over. But that one, I didn't call it to be. Seriously, I called it, it didn't come into being, and
Wow.
I faced it. Loneliness is a bad thing for, mommies that put to bed. It is worst, when you also, like in my own case, I had surgery.
Okay.
Yes, I had wounds. I wouldn't eat what every other person would eat. I wouldn't exercise. I can't work for long time and every other thing. I can't even sit normally to breastfeed my baby. I had to use something to support myself. I had so many limitations around me. Yes, I did. So all these things became compounded for me. So I can't blame myself for going through what I went through. Yes, because I am a human being, but I can only say that it made me stronger.
Wow.
Because subsequent pregnancies, I was now prepared.
Very strong.
Yes, on what to expect, and they came off better.
All right. Wow. Beautiful. Right. We'll give you the sound. We'll be right back. Don't touch the dial. We're coming back.